the way we digest our food is so important. You talked about two major things from last week's episode involving, first of all, chewing your food, chewing 20, 25 times each side. I tried it, I'm doing it some. I'm following some of the regimen. And the second thing is drinking water. We don't drink enough water, so we're not taking care of our gut that way. Now, one subject I wanted to talk about the gut is we talked about kind of eliminating gluten. What about sugars in the gut? Is that a bad thing? Or sugar, how much we should intake of sugar?
Well, sugar in general is really dangerous. Okay, now, but that does not mean we don't need sugar. Everything in moderation is good. Now, do not isolate normal things from good plants and then say, okay, I'm eating sugar. There is no natural sugar that exists in nature. You don't see white sugar everywhere. You don't. You eat a plant that is rich in carbohydrates. Okay, so what we are supposed to eat is complex carbohydrates that come from vegetables, that come from the food we're eating. So our genome only corresponds and discusses, as I told you before. We have a conversation between the outside world and the food and our gene. That conversation is a dynamic conversation. That conversation is dictating what genes are going to be turned on. That conversation between the environment and the food and your genes is what it's going to decide what enzymes need to be turned on. If you're drinking a lot of milk, you're going to turn on the enzymes that work with milk. If you're eating a lot of sugars and carbohydrates, you're going to have the enzyme, you're going to turn on those enzymes. So it's a dynamic conversation. And knowing that it's a dynamic conversation, if you engage yourself in the wrong conversation, you end up into big trouble. So engaging with the wrong food is food that is not natural. Unfortunately, now, right now in this world, right now, you're eating food that is not natural. Sadly to say, it's not only the sad food which is standard American diet, but sadly to say, you go to some places and the label says it's real food. Is that not scary? You go to places, that means, oh, this is real food and this is not real food?
Yeah.
Is the scariest thing. So what am I eating?
Yeah,
what are you eating? It's important for you to know.
No,
This is
why is it we're able to digest it when we're young, but when we're older, we really do feel how bad it is for us.
We don't digest it, period, whether we're young or we're old. Our genes don't have enzymes. Our genes are not made to digest certain things. So when we are not able to digest them, we are going to ask our friends, our bacteria, that are our microbiome, that is normally a good thing, to become aggressive and mean and becomes pathogen. Pathogen means it starts destroying us. So we start off with good bacteria, which is called normal flora, and we end up with bacteria that is dangerous. So what happens is, this is not. So the bacteria is dangerous. When we have bad bacteria, it's dangerous. But why do we have bad bacteria? Because we create bad bacteria. We create bad bacteria because the bacteria don't like our food. Even the bacteria gets so angry with what we're doing that it really starts getting aggressive. So that bacteria that's supposed to be working in harmony with us starts attacking us. It's angry, it's itching. Bacteria is not happy. You're giving the bacteria an itch. So the bacteria becomes aggressive and assertive because we're turning on some of the bacteria genes against us. So your choices for food can affect not only your genome or your genetic transcription or genetic manifestation, but also the genetic of your bacteria and your good yeast. You have yeast, you have bacteria, you have viruses. They're part of your family. They live within you. They live in harmony with you. But when you make it hard on you, you make it also hard on the bacteria. And when you make it hard on you and the bacteria, then you turn on the wrong genes in you and the bacteria, and then inflammation starts. Did I make sense? Hey!
You're definitely